Do you think a homosexual can be a high value man?
No.
Okay, how about a man that supports abortion?
Nope.
How about a man that commits adultery?
Nope.
How about a gluttonous man?
How about a gluttonous man? You think a gluttonous man? You said no? Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, keep throwing them out. Show us the difference right now. Just prove it right now.
How about a racist man? Can a racist man be high value?
Hell yeah, brother.
No, don't do that. No, don't. Nick, I'm gonna kick you off.
We interrupt this program to prescribe you with 1,000 milligrams of red vitamins.
Right here, right now. It's the right time, It's the right sound. Right now. Tell the whole pipe down. Tell the nigga pipe down.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's your boy Reclaim Your Throne coming at you with another crazy video. But first, my goal is to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. You already know. Reclaim Your Throne.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
Well.
Every day is good. Every day is good.
Okay, so let's talk about the tweet. Who here disagrees with what Rollo said? All right, Bryson, go ahead. Isabella, go ahead.
So my issue with a lot of the red pill community is it's not that everything y'all say is wrong, because obviously we have a lot of overlapping values that would agree, is that it's based on false premises. The premise is wrong itself. And I do want to start with the tweet itself, because y'all kept saying this tweet isn't advice. That is a false premise, because by definition, it is advice. Because it is advice, because who is he sending the tweet to? Who is he telling the quickest way to be a high value man is to not get married, is to get a vasectomy? Who is he talking to? Not himself. He's telling this to other people, which by definition makes it advice. So it's hard to have conversations if y'all start the conversations off with false premises claiming it's not advice when definitionally it is.
Okay. Rollo, do you want to go?
I was just going to say is if you know anything about my work, or if you know anything about the red pill in particular, we don't give advice. We don't do prescriptions. Now, but let me hedge my bets here for a second. Even if I go on any show, if I come here, if I open my mouth on the street somewhere, people think that it's advice. You cannot be an influencer today without people thinking that you're sermonizing, you're giving people advice, you're self-help. There's always something that just by existing, just by showing your face, people are going to say, oh, he's trying to tell me something. He's trying to sell me something. He's trying to change my mind about something. So there's no way to get around that. So the premise, whether or not it is advice or it's not advice, whatever it was intended to be, is kind of immaterial to the thing, because just by you guys being here on this show with me, people are going to say, oh, Isabella gave this advice, Bryson gave that, Sergio said this. And so therefore it's like they're trying to convince me of something to change my mind. And the reason why we think that is because we can't think any other way. We can't get out of our heads. I literally can't say, I can't just state a fact in the most dry, monotone way without people saying the reason why you're saying that fact in the first place is because you're trying to influence my belief in something. So again, immaterial, whether it is or it isn't, fact remains that I put this out there because it is the fastest way to becoming a high value guy.
Because my question is it true? Like, it isn't necessarily like, it's like, is this a true statement? Is the quickest path to becoming a high value man, don't get married, avoid family creation, vasectomy in your 20s? Like, is that a true? Come down to
whatever your interpretation is of whatever is high value. And when you're looking at guys who are in sort of the tradcon sphere, it's whatever defines them the best. That's why you get, notice the response from Matt Walsh, notice the response from Ben Shapiro. It's always another list of here's actually how this works. Here's the advice you should be following. And it defines me and my personal pet ideology to the letter. So when you see stuff like that, who's doing the sermonizing now?
Can I ask just one more question?
It drew out all kinds of people, like presuming that this is what I meant. He's preaching. He's saying this. He's saying that. Putting words in my mouth. And I that's the most fascinating part. It's like a socio-psychological experiment to see how people react to this. Because Lauren Chen, she didn't react to it the same way. She was like, your bloodline's going to die.
Hey, Rello, just real
different. That's a lot different than Ben Shapiro's response.
Just real quick though, right? Before we get to this true thing, once again, we have to start on we have to separate things that are objective from things that are subjective. You may not want what you said to be advice, but by definition, you do understand though, as an adult, you do understand that by definition, what you're doing is advice.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Wait, no, Bryson, I have a question. Wouldn't it only be advice if he said the best way?
No, that's not what advice is.
I would think it's like the quickest way is more of an observation. So if you look at 10 high value men and these are the steps they took to get somewhere.
No, advice by definition.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and advice by definition is simply, there's multiple ways to view it in every way he fits it, but it's giving information to people. So he's saying the quickest way to do this is to not get married. The quick way to do this is to get a vasectomy in your 20s. Once again, he said the quickest way. He didn't say the only way. He just said the quickest way. By definition, he's putting that out on Twitter to tell it to other people that are following him so they can see it. No, by definition, that is advice.
No, I'm looking up the definition of advice. It says guidance. I'm saying it says guidance or recommendations. So, like, wouldn't he have to recommend it? That's just the way I took it. No, he said the quickest.
And I said the quickest way to becoming a high value man is this.
Who? Who did you say it to?
To the Twitter sphere, out there into the global Twitter sphere. How's that?
Why? Why did you say it to Twitter? Why did you say it to Twitter?
Because I just explained that in the very beginning of this video.
I heard you, and it sounded like advice by definition. So you said it to Twitter and not to yourself, not to your friends. You said it publicly on a public platform.
Do you think that people could in some way take it as not being advice, as being an observation of these qualities and attributes that are actually, maybe I'm not telling you that I'm not saying this is the best way to live. I'm just saying this is the fastest way to get to from point A to point B.
Okay, wait. Actually, I have a question. So if you say the quickest way to gain muscle or whatever is to take steroids, is that advice or is that true?
That's literal advice by definition. Again, if you say that publicly to people, once again, is by definition advice.
I would disagree. That's just the quickest way you do it.
No, it's because another definition of advice.
Quickest doesn't mean best. What? Go ahead.
Once again, if you look at the definition of advice, is to give information to. Is that not information you're providing to somebody else? Yes or no?
I'm looking at the definition of advice. It says guidance or recommendations.
I'm looking at all three of them, and I've had it up for a very, very long time, by the way. First off, that is guidance and recommendations, because who are you saying the quickest way to do this? Who are you saying that to, and why are you saying it to them? And secondly, the second definition.
Saying it to, it's a factual observation.
Yeah. The second definition is a formal notice. And the third definition is information. So you're giving information to somebody else. All three of these things fit the definition of advice. And I find it so interesting that people are arguing over something that's objectively true. The only reason you're saying that out loud is because you're trying to give it to somebody. Why are you trying to tell them what the quickest way to do this is? Of course, that's advice.
Let him respond.
Social media platform and not give advice.
What was your question? I'm sorry.
Definition, anything that comes out of your mouth on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, no matter what you say, it is automatically advice. Are you saying that every single tweet on planet Earth is advice?
No, but if I tweet right now, the quickest,
because that's except that's the definition you're referring to right now. It's factual relativism. It's like whatever I think is right, that's advice. Whatever I think is wrong, that's not advice. Or that's bad.
A fact can be advice. So if I tweet right now, the quickest way to gain followers on TikTok is to post 5 videos per day on TikTok. That is a fact, but it is also advice. I don't know why y'all are acting like things can't be a fact and advice at the same time. And I don't even know why it's so bad to admit that this is advice by definition.
It can be, but the thing is you cannot go and deliver I can go and give you a psychological study and just repost it on Twitter, whatever. I can go and pick up whatever, like from Godsod or David Buss. I could go and I could just retweet the link. Is that advice?
No. Let me give you an example. If I tweet right now,
why would I do that if I didn't want people to think that this is true and this is how they ought to live their lives, or they should use this information to change their lives?
If I tweet right now that 50% of marriages end in divorce, that isn't advice. How's that advice by definition? I'm not giving information. I'm just saying a fact out loud. But in this case, when you say the quickest way to do something is to do this, and you're telling that to people on a social media platform, that is a clear difference, because that's advice, because there's no other reason to say do not do this if you want the quickest way to become a successful man. Now, I just want to point that fact out, because and I knew you were going to say this, by the way, because you made a claim that conservatives don't like arguing facts, we argue what we feel. But it seems like right here you're saying, like, I feel like it is an advice, so it is an advice. But factually speaking,
you can't get out of the idea that someone could go and actually put something out there completely devoid of any bias, any kind of advice, any kind of hey, I live this way, I'm giving you this information so you'll agree with me. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've already explained the difference. And once again, by definition, what you said is advice. I do find it interesting that you are fighting so hard against that, though.
Okay.
Guys, why are we debating advice? Like, I feel like this is the wrong thing to debate here. I feel like, okay, I mean, everything I say on my Twitter is advice. Like, that's fine. I feel like we should just move on. I feel like this is not what the viewers even really want to hear the debate about, whether it's advice or not. I don't know. You guys keep going back and forth.
That was just a test. That was just a test to see.
Is reading a college textbook advice?
So that was just a test to see how they will argue against a basic fact, because reading a textbook has nothing to do with the example given with your tweet or anything of that nature. Now you're providing irrelevant situations as a comparison.
It's information.
Nah, I honestly, bro, I think you're just like conflating what he's saying. Like, it's not advice, it's an observation. Like, if I said the quickest way to lose your virginity is to go to Vegas, that doesn't mean that I'm telling you to go to Vegas and deal with a prostitute. It just means that the quickest way to lose your virginity is to go and pay somebody to take your virginity. It's an observation. It's not saying this is what you have to do, because there are other ways to become a high value man. But he's saying the quickest way to become a high value man is don't get married, which is true, because if you get married, then you're going to be spending your money on somebody else, and that's going to deplete your funds. Avoid family creation, because obviously kids are going to deplete your funds as well. It costs like $300,000, throughout the lifetime of a child from 0 to 18 to raise them. So that's going to hurt your funds as well. Vasectomy in your 20s is just going to make sure that you don't have kids, and you mitigate those risks that he spoke about in point 1 and point 2. Live consistently, and that's going to keep your mindset straight. Eliminate all sedations, obviously, no distractions, drugs, anything like that. Learn game and networking, how to talk to people, how to get yourself in those rooms with other high-value men. Play to your strengths, build wealth, resist easing up on your focus.
Thanks for proving that he gave advice, and we can move forward now.
No,
Nick,
Bryson, I have a question. If he has stats to back it up, then does it change? Because you said you can tweet a stat. But it's like, if you say anything about the stat, does that change it or no?
No.
To you?
Okay. So let me just do this one more time, because obviously nobody likes to admit truths, and I don't even care that much. My whole goal with saying that was to know that he was going to argue against the definition. The definition seems pretty straightforward. And him saying, like, if you tweet that 50% of divorces ended, 50% of marriages ended in divorce, that isn't advice, because you're not saying do this for this. But if you tweet that if you want to become, the quickest way to become this is to do this, that's obviously the difference, because you're telling it to people. I mean, it's a clear difference that obviously people are missing because of feelings, which is okay. We can move forward in conversation.
If I tweet out 50% of marriages end in divorce, does that mean that I'm advocating for or against marriage?
I've already answered that question.
No, it's not clear. Could you?
I said that's not advice, because you're not saying do this for this. So you're not saying that.
Okay. So no. Okay. So what do you say?
If Hafiz says this or somebody else says this, it's just you going on there and putting that out there, that there's the presumption that this is what you mean. That's what every single one of these TradCon guys came at me with, because they presume they know something about me.
So also, I think
they cannot go and you cannot put a tweet.
Go, Sergio.
Y'all are influencers. By definition, an influencer influences people. Like, if you're an influencer, then you have authority over something. Like, you have the ability to move people emotionally and stuff. You are definitely giving advice if you're an influencer. It's crazy that with great power comes great responsibility. I gotta quote Spider-Man for this shit, but this is true. Like, if anybody who has this type of power, you have great responsibility to say certain things, to give certain advice. I don't care what anybody says. Like, there is morals to this shit. You make a lot of money by saying certain things. You're going to make way more money saying something viral, saying some red meat, than if you don't say that right now. So it's always about money. Everything always goes back to the dollar. It's always cope if it's not.
It made me money off that tweet. I guess I'm doing something wrong.
It's just advertising. It's free advertising.
Does that?
Isn't it? If I go and I post something about my dog on Twitter, is that free advertising?
No, because it's not going to get as many retweets unless it's like a really, really cute picture of your dog.
So basically, it's conditional as what you agree with and what you don't agree with.
No, I'm saying that this is all grift. It's just money.
Versus what doesn't. So if I post about my greyhounds, it's not about
Hurdle's panel.
And it is.
Yeah,
There's no way around it. It's unfalsifiable. There's no way around that. I can go and literally
on
post
the bottom.
something that's
Hold on.
completely anonymous and it wouldn't even still be advertised.
Hold on.
Guys, on the bottom, you need to have your cameras on to come on.
Well, yeah. So, like, I think when you're a big influencer, yes, every time you post anything with your lifestyle or anything, you are advertising in a way. But certain things you post are going to get way more clicks. They're going to get way more attention, way more views. Those things are going to get way more people to want to go click on your book in the top link. It's just, it's all marketing, and that's fine. I respect the game when it comes to marketing.
You're doing
I just hope everybody can be honest about it.
But you're doing what he's talking about, which is like you're trying to like say what his intentions are, and it goes back to like moral and immoral. Like that's what he was talking about earlier when he's saying you're trying to conflate his like what he's trying to do, when like it shouldn't really matter. Like the facts should matter.
Yeah, and even though then we can debate the facts though, and then even then I can say that I don't think that guys should be getting vasectomies when sometimes it's not reversible. First off, and then second off, sometimes people have
right. Well, we can get to that. We can get to that like later. Like that's later conversation. But I'm saying like right now you're trying to say like you're doing this because of this, which isn't really relevant. Like the why isn't relevant. We're just saying is this advice or is it not advice? Like that's what we're talking about.
Okay, and that well then I already said with your responsibility, you know, like that comes with a lot of power.
Yeah. No, because I don't think it's actually advice. And it's not based on feelings. I think it's based on the facts. Like if you come to certain conclusions, it's not advice.
Right. Like if does having kids help or hurt you to gaining financial freedom?
Obviously hurt, but I still think having kids adds value to your life.
Well, we ain't talking about adding value. We're talking about becoming a high value man. Like
what's the quickest
what is really that simple. I mean, a lot of people have different definitions of a high value man, but I like to sum up what a high value man is through an acronym, and I use the acronym Malcolm, which is a mildly attractive, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable man. Now, that's my own definition, and there's different tiers of Malcolms. There's 3 tiers of Malcolm. Top tier Malcolm is a massively attractive, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable man. Second tier Malcolm is a mildly attractive, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable man. And the third tier Malcolm is a medium, ugly, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable man. All these men are lucrative, communicative, operational, and likable men, but their attractiveness level, their physical attractiveness level is based off of the tier of Malcolm that they are. So
you admit that a high value man is subjective, period.
No, well, I'm saying that different people have a way of defining it, but I don't think it's subjective.
How is it not? If you said there's different people could view as a high value man.
No, I'm saying different people have.
Wait, what does it stand for again? What does Malcolm stand for again?
A mildly attractive, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable man.
Gotta write that down.
Wait. So I do. Would you? Okay, wait. Let me. Do you guys agree that Kevin Samuels coined that term?
Did he?
Yeah, I mean.
Would you?
I mean,
because I have written down what he said it was. If we agree that he coined that term, if you don't think he did, then me reading this is pointless.
Malcolm or high value man?
High value man.
Yeah, I think he. I think he helped put parameters on it for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, he popularized it, but he can't define it. He can't define it because all those words already existed.
Okay, so the question.
No, still read it though, please.
Okay. This is just what he said. Okay, because that was the first time I heard that term was on Kevin Samuels. Was it around before then? It's very possible. I don't know, but that's just where I heard it first. So he said it's $10K per month and you must have had that for 3 to 5 years. Other men must accept you as high value. You have to have a network of high value men. You have to have a LinkedIn visibility level, and you have to be useful to others in the group.
Subjective,
yeah,
but that's cool, but it's still subjective. Like, I mean, high value man is already.
Okay.
You can't be broke. You can't be broke and be a high value man. Let's just keep it a buck.
I agree with that. So that could be something objective. Like you have to be successful in some form financially to be a high value man. That's something I think we can all agree on.
Right.
But
okay,
everything.
I won't agree on that. Actually, I think there's some very high quality guys who are dirt ass poor.
I agree with Rolo on that too.
Dirt ass.
You know what? You know what, Rolo?
Okay.
Possibly.
Rolo, since you
Was Mahatma Gandhi a high value man? Was Martin Luther King Jr. a high value man?
No.
According to the criteria of the 21st century, the answer would be no. But did they make an impact on
Gandhi and MLK suck. That's such a Gen X. That's such a Gen X. Like, what about Gandhi and what about Nirvana? What about Kurt Cobain? Was Kurt Cobain a high value man?
You tell me.
I think
man.
George Floyd was a high value man.
George Floyd.
Big Floyd by definition was.
Yeah.
Big Floyd.
He had a trap house. He was big.
Yeah.
Once you're
money
defining
nonetheless.
high value. That's the whole thing. Is what is it? Is it leaving a dent in the universe, or is it making as much money as you possibly can?
So the moral of the story is we're all not agreeing on what a high value man is, correct?
I think a high value man is something that is highly sought after by women. So like
Yeah,
you can
that's-
be broke and you still can be a high value man because a lot of women want to fuck you still.
So we're depending this on the woman's
so hold on.
perspective?
There's a difference between high value man and a high quality man. So I think high value, he's valued high. And then there's a high quality man that maybe isn't valuable, but he does all the quality things that people like. But those are two completely different fucking things.
But basing this on a woman's perspective, I think makes it really a weak argument because women have such different perspectives and also they're naturally retarded. So
So true.
Can't disagree, but
so Rolo, you tweeted it. So what did you mean when you said that?
I just said that it's the quickest path to becoming a high value man. And by the way, that also applies to people who are dirt poor. Okay, staying on your. You notice I said stay on your point, right? Don't resist resist the lure of easing up on your focus. When I bring up, say, someone like who is not necessarily super rich, the thing is when people ask me like, do I have to look like Andrew Tate to be a high value guy, to be the top G, right? Well, there's guys who are like living in fishing villages on the coast of Chile right now who are never going to have a Lamborghini, but they could still become high value guys within the context of where they're living at that time. So if the red pill is not for everybody, then it's for nobody. If all we're going to do is define it based on like how many Lamborghinis and what color your Bugatti is, then if that's your definition of a high value man, I have to sort of take issue with that. And by the way, this tradcons will say the same thing. They'll say, well, a high value man is a guy who's got he's got grandchildren and children, and everyone's at his deathbed, and his wife's there, holding his hand as he passes into the next life. That might be their definition of a high value guy. What I'm saying is that by following the quickest path to this, you're going to get to the point where you're going to be able to maximize your potential as whatever you're a high value man as. You understand what I'm saying? That's why I bring up Gandhi. That's why I bring up MLK. That's why I bring up people who don't have the Bugatti. They don't have that kind of means. But did they make an impact on the world? Well, does that make them a high value or high quality man? Does that make them somebody that is a notable throughout world history? I could name lots of other names as well of people who made an effect on world history. Is that making an effect on making a dent in the universe? Does that make you a high value man? Because that's exactly when Lauren Chen says your bloodline is dead, right? Well, that's because her definition of what ought to make a high value man is you got to have lots and lots of kids and repopulate the world kind of thing. So if that's her definition, it still applies because the guy who doesn't have those liabilities and those accountabilities resists getting into a family, resists it, and is in better shape to actually achieve what she's professing as a high quality man.
But Rolo, my question would be if what a high value man is subjective. I mean, because y'all talked a lot about facts. I mean, there are no facts because everything you said was simply an opinion. Because what's a high value man isn't objective, and that's the one thing I feel like that we just
the man with opportunities and the ability to maneuver, is he in a better position to become a high value man than the guy who is not? That's really what kind of boils down to. Does it come down to the fact that if I have to take care of all these responsibilities, how am I going to stay on point if I'm putting out fires all the time?
Yeah, so I think you can have 10 children and definitely be a high value man. Matter of fact, in my world, how I view what a high value man is, I think if you're unmarried, I think married men with children are peak high value man. I feel like that's the peak you can get to. And of course, you have to have integrity. I think you can't be a high value man without having integrity. You have to be honest because liars are not high value man. And finances can play a part in it because to me, financial situations, not every time, but in a lot of moments, it can prove that if you're a lazy bum or not. So if you're not bringing in any income as a man, you have to be lazy, period, point blank. So I do agree that finances play a role, but like I said, that was my whole point, that what a high value man is will probably differ between all of us. I mean, I don't know, me, Nick, and Isabel may have similarities on what we think a high value man is. But that's because we picked God first.
Okay,
but yeah, so that's my point.
Based on all of the different definitions, is what his advice is untrue. Because this is what
I don't think that high value men get vasectomies. I think that's
facts.
No, is it the quickest?
Yeah,
is
I don't
it the
agree with
quickest
that either.
way?
No, because that's not something high value men do.
I mean, you could just put a condom on, right?
I don't think high value men use condoms either. It's very cringe.
See, that's the thing.
I agree.
You're going to get into this tradcon argument that any sex that isn't for procreation is going to end up being what, a drug addiction? Is that what?
Y'all
it's a sin.
So you're not going to win this argument because that's all it's going to end up being. Is if you anything that's not for procreation is basically homosexuality. So
you're never going to win that argument.
Let's just skip to that part. Can we just skip to that part?
God says it's a sin, so we can't do it. Also, condoms are kind of gay. I feel like if you're gonna be promiscuous, you should at least go in raw.
Oh, raw.
That's my opinion.
Nice.
So you're agreeing that if you're going to do that, then it's probably a better prescription to get a vasectomy then.
No, it's totally antiviral, like anti-nail. To
pull out game got to be strong.
What is it?
I don't support that, but I think that's also true. That's facts.
We're just making value calls here. We're making judgment calls here. So can a man
moral universe
without having any children?
Yes.
Okay. So what's the quickest way to get to that?
Become a priest.
And I stay on my point and I stay on my focus and I make an impact in the world because I didn't have the liabilities, the accountabilities, or the responsibilities of a family, of anything else. Because I
don't think there is a fast way to become
solely to one thing. The most.
I don't think there is a fast track.
I don't think people lack meaning. I don't think they lack conviction, or they lack purpose. They lack conviction right now. If you really wanted to be high value, you would follow this. You really would. And I'm not saying
what is value?
I'm saying, well, it just depends on what you define as value. As I said before,
who assigns value?
A high value guy, or you can be Andrew Tate and be a high value guy.
Who assigns value, though?
Either way, having the opportunities that are present to you and the ability to maneuver with those uninhibited by family or by anything else, you're going to be in a better position to get that quicker than you would if you had them.
Who assigns value, though?
Doesn't matter who's assigning. You assign value. Doesn't make any.
But if we're defining what a high value person is, we need to know who assigns value.
Well, you're not going to be able to assign that because that's a subjective call per guy.
Good, but who? Subjective to who? Because what it sounds like is
apparently
the
to the
sexual marketplace.
It's one thing, and it's not something else. You see what I'm saying?
The sexual marketplace stuff is like, well, because it's really, well, they say that value is assigned in the marketplace, right? Like something is only worth what someone's willing to pay for it. So it sounds like this is some sexual marketplace stuff, which says that a man is only worth what a woman is willing to do with him, or however many women are willing to do stuff with him.
You notice how you fixate on the.
Why do you have to interrupt me? Why do you have to interrupt me? Huh?
Continue.
I'm cooking. Let me cook.
Can we just get to the part where say it's all the Jews because of that? I think we just skip to it.
No, don't talk about that. No. Please don't go there. No. We'll end the stream if we talk about that. I will.
But yeah, you're right. We'll refrain from that. What I'm driving at here is that if women are assigning the value, these women are on birth control. These women are straight up coon brain goofies. The idea that we would listen to women for what a valuable man is crazy. I mean, at the same time, we're saying like women aren't traditional, women can't control themselves, women are on drugs, and we're like, but we need to define our value in terms of what they want. Pete Davidson is a high value man according to the sexual marketplace. He dated Kim Kardashian, but we all know he's a trashy scumbag. So I don't think there is a fast track. I think the way to become a high value man is to build character. And building character takes time and prayer and seeking the truth. And I think you could be rich or poor, have kids or not kids. I think it has nothing to do with money. I think it has to do with your soul, because people are not just flesh and blood, but they also have a soul. So it's about the nobility and the magnanimity of the soul, which is what makes somebody high value, in my opinion.
I'm gonna let
Nick, are you saying God defines what that is?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna let Rolo. What do you say to that?
Well, now you know why everyone thinks I'm preaching when I put out lists like this, because they can't define it in any other framework than it's a religious thing, then it's a belief thing. As I was saying in the beginning of this, we're going to be talking past each other because we're not even speaking the same language here. I'm talking about factual absolutism. You guys are talking about factual relativism. You guys are talking about you can't get your head out of a set of beliefs to even consider objective facts, unless those objective facts fit into your belief set. So that's number one. Number two is who gets to decide what a soul is? Who gets to decide what God is? Who gets to decide what you're praying to? Is it Islam? Is it Christianity? Is it the Jews? Is it what? Which one are we talking about, first of all? And if you don't assign value to that particular belief set, then are you living a high value life or are you not living a high value life? That's what it really kind of boils down to, because there's no objectivity in this whatsoever. These are all container words. You can fill them up with any meaning that you want to. And the people who align with your beliefs will go, yes, Nick, oh, awesome for you, right? Yeah, he really represents my beliefs. But then does that make you factually correct? No, it doesn't. Like, I expect to lose debates. You know why? Not because I'm wrong, but because of that mentality right there. So basically what you're doing is you're assigning value that you think. It's exactly what Ben Shapiro did. Like, he creates another list saying, here's what's really a high value man. And of course, it defines what he happens to be. So
that's what you did also, correct?
So I just gave a list of things to the quickest way. I didn't say this is what I follow.
He's married and has a kid, he said.
I'm married, I have a kid. I am a shining example.
That's not
that you would like to be. And that's why it's not advice, because people will say, you're a hypocrite. You're not living like this. Yeah, I know, because I'm giving you an objective observation of of what's going on today. So when people go, you have a kid, why are you against marriage? I'm not. I'm giving you the freaking observations here.
I tip my fedora.
Listen, I haven't made any of them claims against you at all, except for the one about your premise
you don't
about it
have
not
to.
being
You don't have to, because you align the same thing as Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh.
Are you assuming what I'm saying now? Are you assuming what I mean?
Up until this point, I am right now. Until you.
Okay, good, because you didn't like people doing that to you earlier, but I see. But I do have a question.
Let me just be clear here. I don't give two shits about what you think about me. I'm just relating what is.
Why are you so angry?
Factually there.
Okay, you keep claiming things are objective facts, but the premise is subjective. So how can that be true? How can what you say be true if what is based on is subjective?
Because practically speaking, if you want to get to what we consider, what is largely considered a high value guy today, not having family, not worrying about marriage, not worrying about having a kid out of wedlock or in wedlock. If you want to be in a better position to optimize the opportunities that you have in life, it is better for you not to have those liabilities and those attachments to you. Whether or not you take those on later on as a high value man is really kind of up to you. But the thing is the quickest path from point A to point B is how I spelled it out in the tweet.
Your point B didn't say what's widely considered a high value man. Your point B said verbatim a high value man. So since that part,
did you hear the part where I was talking about Brandon Carter? When I was saying, Brandon Carter's lifestyle is this. Like, he doesn't worry about going to the grocery store. He doesn't worry about laundry. He doesn't worry about cleaning his house.
He used DoorDash. Yeah, I heard you.
All that stuff. Like,
let's go, Brandon.
Eliminates every possibility for distraction that would take him away from his point and from making money to getting to the point where he wants to be, whatever his goal is. But he's essentially following, maybe he doesn't have a vasectomy, but whatever his goal is, he is better unencumbered than he is encumbered. Would you agree with that?
No, because in my definition of a high value man, that includes having children and having a wife. Actually, all of those things.
Okay. That's why a guy like Brandon Carter outperforms a guy like you.
You think so? How much money do you think I make a year?
So now we are basing it on money, right?
No, I'm basing it on whatever you think.
I mean, Brandon Carter getting that bag. I ain't gonna cap.
Wait. Your claim was your claim just now.
I just was thinking. So, if your goal is to have like a wife and a family, but the way and most women are today, Which you could say like find the exception, but we're like going by the rule, right? Like the way most women are today, the best place you could be in is to have the most leverage in that relationship. So to have things like your muscle, your money, your game figured out. And the only way you really like get to that point, I would say, is having experience with women and having the time to like build up your focus. I think that's what he's saying. So even if you're like wanting to start a family, I would imagine the best way to get the highest quality women is to have that stuff figured out.
No, not everything on his list for starters. For seconds, I just want to say again, he moved the goalpost in the last thing he said. Because first he said a high value man, then he moved it to saying was widely considered a high value man, even though he already admitted that his definition of a high value man.
Sorry, I need you to slow down a bit. Like, I'm sorry. So you said, where did he move the goalpost?
Simple. In his tweet, he said a high value man.
Okay.
This discussion we just had proves that what a high value man is subjective. But he claims that everything he said was an objective fact. What did he call it? He called it something like objective reality or something like that.
So Rolo, how is
definition of what a high value guy is? And you said it was by money, and I said, would a guy like Brandon Carter, who I would presume is in the same business as you, as being an influencer, is he in a better position to outperform someone like you? You can say if there's two guys and one of them is, you have two Gandhis for fuck's sake, or you got two Gandhis and one of them's married and has all his attachments, and the other one that doesn't. Which one is more effective in what he's doing? Because he's unencumbered by liabilities, accountabilities, and responsibilities.
Yeah. So me currently,
you can take that and you can apply it to all kinds of different definitions of what a high value guy is.
Yeah, but my point is you're wrong. That's because once again, my definition of a high value man, you can't get to that place based on what you just said, right? Because to get to the place of what I'm saying, the Bible says, finding a wife is a good thing. You have to find a wife. You have to date, get engaged, and get.
So would you disagree? Because in my head, it's like,
but
okay,
Jesus didn't find a wife. He was a high value man.
Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God. He don't play by the same rules we do. And
but even so I have a question. I'm trying to figure out. So if let's say your goal is to find a wife, right, and have a family, wouldn't you say, because in 2023, there's a lot of risks that go with marriage, right? So wouldn't you think that the best position to be in when dealing with women is to have as much of your stuff together as possible? And
you disagree on what that stuff is. So if you want the type of woman that I'm talking about, what a high value man is, obviously in the Bible, you can't be unequally yoked. So you have to find a woman of God. To be a woman of God, the first thing you have to get together is to be a man of God. To be a man of God has nothing to do with finances, right? I mean, it does a little bit, but not in the beginning. It's to repent,
right?
Turn away from your sins. Don't lie, have integrity, don't steal, be a good person. And of course, you can't be lazy because those that don't work don't eat. So it's about turning away, and repentance is the first step to being a high value man, so you can get a high value woman.
So
a man brings. Oh, go ahead.
So this is where I think we have a disconnect, because it's I
agree,
and this is where. Because even if that's your goal, and your goal is to get the highest quality wife possible, that's part of it, right? The issue is that I'll start interviewing guys during this documentary that I've been doing, and on paper they had a wife that had all the things you're talking about. And so it's I don't know.
You're not going to win the argument because you can't win an argument against God.
Yeah, but here's the thing. He said you need to find a woman of God. A man brings a woman to God. You ain't going to find no woman of God. The man has to bring the woman to the faith.
I just want to respond to the other thing. Other thing what Pearl said real quick. If you actually look at people that are more stern in their faith, admittedly, Christians are the least obedient, the most lukewarm. But if you look at Abrahamic religions that are more inclined to their faith, they have the lowest rates of divorce and lowest rates of all the things that y'all talk about all the time because I watch your show. So if you follow the rules of God, you be with somebody that's equally yoked, then in most cases, not all, but in most cases, if y'all abide by the rules of the Bible, if you're a person of God, you won't end up in those situations, because y'all are against no-fault divorce, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, we are too. There's only two reasons for divorce. That's sexual immorality and physical abuse. Those are the only two true reasons you can have for a divorce. Most divorces, as you know, Pearl, happen over financial reasons. Right. So people that are getting divorces over financial issues, that's not a biblical reason to get a divorce. That's why I think that there's a disconnect, but I think one of the disconnects is y'all are confusing trad cons with neocons. I don't think any trad con on this panel Show thinks Steven Crowder is a tradcon or Candace Owens is a tradcon. I think none of us that are actually tradcons will agree with that sentiment or statement.
Facts.
Yeah, I agree. Crowder might be gay.
Oh,
He does dress like a woman.
Are we onto that already?
Damn.
I'm just saying. Not
We're
very
onto that
good.
one already. Okay.
Also, Dennis Prager is Jewish.
No, stop it. Stop it. No.
So is
I
Ben
know
Shapiro.
Rollo's
No, not on YouTube. Not on YouTube. Not on
It's
YouTube.
not really our guy.
Well, I'm not gonna talk about that.
Doesn't
but I
that
will say-
doesn't
Okay,
that
but-
debunk what he just said because he was just talking about Abrahamic religions having
No, it doesn't.
the
Dennis Prager
lowest
does
rate
not.
of divorce?
Dennis Prager does not follow what he believes his religion to be, though. That's why he thinks being bisexual is normal.
Well, because my question
Oh, he
is,
said, oh, he's tripping.
because my question is, I swore it's like a majority of guys in, I don't remember what religion it was, like they watch porn. And like they're addicted to, like, I'm not going to say it because I can't on YouTube, but like pornography. It's like a majority. I thought like 51% of churchgoers believe in divorce. So it's like telling a guy, oh, just go to the church and find a good girl. I just don't know if that's going to work for like the average
didn't
guy
say
in
that. I'm
not saying that.
2023. Okay,
Yeah, we're not
where
saying
did
that. I didn't say that at all.
Okay, where did I misunderstand you?
Well, I didn't say nothing about church at all. I said you have to repent and become a man of God yourself, so you would attract the type of woman you want, which would then be a woman of God. And then what I said about Abrahamic religions was about divorce. I don't know the statistics on porn. I think you may be talking about possibly
No,
you could
corn,
be talking
corn.
about people in the Middle East. I meant corn, but possibly you could be talking about people in the Middle East, but I don't know. But if you look at most Abrahamic religions outside of Christianity, you say churchgoers, most of those people are Christians, and Christianity is in a sunken place currently. So yeah, that was my point.
So if it's in a sunken place, then how are you going to find that woman of God? You said by repenting and then you'll manifest it?
Because people know the difference between.
That's what you said. You said you repent, you become a man of God.
No, because
It's in a sunken place.
No, listen, it's gonna be hard for you to understand if you don't understand the faith.
I mean, I grew up in the church. I understand the faith, but
that doesn't mean much. But listen, I'm gonna try to explain to you the best I can, bro. Okay. People that are truly in the word or truly strong in their faith, you can easily tell the difference. And the Bible says you can tell the difference in 1 John chapter 3 is that the children of God and the children of Satan are obvious. And then it lays out the reason why the two are obvious. And a lot of people will claim to be of Christ. I mean, but what percent of Christians today support same-sex marriage, right? It's probably pretty high. You think I'm gonna consider those people? Of course. So if I see a woman simping for Blair White, I know for sure this isn't the one. Now, my fiance,
that's
on the other
most
hand,
women, though.
It's what?
Most women are for the LGBT movement.
Yes, because women usually support degeneracy. Nobody ever said it was the majority, though.
But
My
I'm
fiance-
saying it doesn't.
Don't wife the hose.
Don't. Yeah,
No,
don't.
No,
Go
it
ahead,
is
I'm
the
sorry.
majority. That's what I was saying.
That's what I said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm agreeing, but that has no bearing on what I just said. Like my fiance is a virgin. She don't engage in those silly things.
When did you meet her?
So you said what?
I said, when did you meet her?
We met at the White House.
Okay, how old is she?
She's 24.
Okay.
Boom.
Asking.
What up?
you can get one person. You can get.
I mean, how'd you verify her virginity? I mean, that's my question.
Oh, at first I didn't believe it because where I'm from, you don't do it. But there's no virgins where I'm from in High Point, North Carolina. But she
High
just
Point.
You need a boil for that or something?
The
Or is there some like
Yeah,
holy man that goes and checks up, see if the safety seal's back still on? I forget how that works.
But she grew up in a much different area, in a different place. Her situation is more unique, and also she wasn't a virgin. She would have tried to have sex with me by now.
You know,
and we've been dating. We are engaged and have been dating for 3 years. We've never even been close to having sex.
So you haven't physically checked out if she's a virgin or not?
No, I'm a Christian, bro.
So I mean, what do you mean?
What? There's only a few. I'm not a
Why
I'm
can't
not a
you
virgin.
just take her to the doctor and see if she has a hymen?
Oh, you mean like take her to the doctor?
If she told you she was a virgin, shouldn't you verify that? I mean, you're just going off a blind faith.
No, it's not blind faith. You can tell. I would have figured it out by now if she wasn't.
I mean, do you have depth of experience with women? How would you be able to figure out?
A lot of women. I've been popular all my life. And most women just simply aren't virgins.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, how did you verify that she was a virgin?
Well, because every other girl I've dealt with, they tried to have sex with me.
Bro, just because a woman doesn't try to have sex with you doesn't mean that.
I didn't say it was a bulletproof. I'm giving you evidence. See, you know what's interesting about
that's not evidence, bro. That's not evidence. You can't. You know
the definition of evidence is?
Evidence is if you go and take her to the doctor and check and she has a hymen. That's evidence.
That's another form of evidence.
No, that is the.
I don't think y'all know. I don't think y'all know the I don't think y'all know the definition of words. Sometimes y'all say, but and I do find it interesting that you're so angry that my fiance.
He's not angry.
I'm smiling. How did I become angry?
You keep saying everyone's angry, Bryson. No one's angry.
Bro, he right.
The beanie's he's a little angry.
Come on, bro. You know this boy started raising his voice because he vehemently wants to find a way that.
But you're raising your voice more than he is.
No, I naturally talk like this.
Yeah, which is fine. Which is fine. But it's like
I talk.
Bryson, let me ask you a question.
Anybody?
Would you consider Saul a high value man?
Saul or Paul?
Saul. I'm talking about Saul before he found Paul. How not? Why not? In every standard and metric, he would be considered a high value man to the people in that time.
Not in my metric.
Oh, okay. So now it's subjective. You're making high value completely.
I told you. I said it was subjective from the beginning.
But here's the thing. There's universal collectives that all high value men have traits that everybody could be attracted to, and those are status of some sort to whether people want to invest time in them or they want to be associated with them to some degree. Women want to be near them to either help their career or get with them. Men want to be in business with them or be associated with them. That elevates their status. That's what that doesn't have to be completely financial. Saul was just that even before he was Paul.
Hey, Glenn.
He became Paul and did what he did in the Bible, right? After he met Jesus. But before that, he already had a position of value.
To a certain set of people. First of all, I don't think you understood what I said.
Wait.
I said this was subjective from the beginning, and I think you're trying to paint it as objective. The only things that are objective about men and women is women want somebody that can protect and provide. Though that is an objective trait in women. If you're trying to claim that what a high value man is objective, I feel like the conversations we've had on this live stream already debunks that theory. But if you're talking about Saul was a high value man to the sect of Jews he was a part of. He was not a high value man to the followers of Christ during that time. So once again, the situation
he was still a high value man to those people too. They just feared him.
No, he wasn't a high value. What? No,
yes,
he wasn't.
They did not. They feared him. He was still high value. If they weren't worried about him, they wouldn't care. They knew that this person carried weight. He had value. He had people that worked for him. He had people that would drag us out of our houses and stone us for him on his order. He has value. He has higher value than I do. He's still a high value man in our eyes. Just because your enemy or somebody you disagree with you don't like them,
right?
Or you don't respect them doesn't mean they're not high value to you.
So I have a question, and I hope you answer it bluntly and honestly. Are you making the claim that the women of that time that were followers of Christ, they wanted to be with Saul?
No, I said they still understood that he had high value. They knew that this person had authority and he could do things that they can't do, that the average man cannot do.
Do you think, yes or no, do you think the women of that time that are followers of Christ, they wanted to be with Saul? Yes or no?
I think they would get with them if they thought it was.
You'd be surprised. Trust me, you'd be surprised.
I can tell you right now.
You seen the Love Letters serial killers
women back then were just like women today. They still have the same nature. They have the same sins. They have the same struggles as the women today.
And do you think what you're saying
differently?
Do you think what you're saying is an objective truth, or is it just your opinion? Because no Bible verse you can prove this. I know that for a fact. So are you saying?
Well, I mean, if you want to just read how about you read like a third of Proverbs where it talks about female nature?
I know female nature. I know Proverbs 28. I know Proverbs 29. You're talking to the woman.
What about Proverbs 5:7? You know, and listen, the wayward woman.
And listen, ask me 4 times. I'm not the guy.
There's a lot more in there than just what you're naming.
I'm not the guy for the Bible talk. You're not going to win. Trust that.
No, actually, I probably will.
Well, just saying that he's not going to win doesn't mean that he's not going to win. You're just trying to shut down the argument because you're trying to do.
Test it. Let's try.
I mean, you're gaslighting.
Show me in the Bible. Prove this in the Bible. Let's do it. Let's do it if y'all want to. Show me in the Bible.
Bible.
What scripture?
I mean, all he's
How much
saying,
what,
all
Glenn?
he's saying,
I
all
said
he's saying is because Saul's position of power, most likely there were women who would want to be with him solely off of his position of power.
Most likely, you can't. There's no way you can quantify that. There's no way you can prove that. There's no scripture to prove that. That's solely an opinion.
You don't think that's
Ain't
just
nobody- there's
common
no scripture
sense?
that's gonna
Like
say,
a guy with power,
bitches.
okay.
So would Hitler be a high value man then, under this power definition?
Based.
I mean,
Yeah.
technically,
high value, yeah.
technically,
He was a
yeah.
position
It
of
doesn't
high
matter if
value.
he's your
I
enemy or
agree with
not,
you.
bro.
He had a
That's why.
position.
not, though.
That's
I thought we were asking if women. I thought we were asking if women wanted to get with Saul. Like, do women want to
Yes,
get with
ju-
bad men?
ju-
No, but no, I'm
just
saying
tell me-
like I'm saying wait. So I'm saying, do women want to get with bad men? It's like women literally write love letters to serial killers. Duh.
Just pearly
Like-
things. Y'all made a claim earlier. Y'all said conservatives don't like facts, they like feelings, and we're going over facts. So I need all three of y'all to admit on this platform that you cannot quantify or prove that any biblical women in the Bible, you have no evidence to say they wanted to get with Saul while he was persecuting them. You can have that opinion. I'm not against you having your opinion on something that you
You're
can't
right.
prove.
There's no scripture that says that, but also there's no scripture that says
Thank
that
you.
every man should get a woman. That makes you a high value woman. Because actually, Paul actually writes, it's better for you not to get married and pursue God and do
Facts.
God's work than to get married. But if you're going to get married, if you cannot avoid sexual immorality, this
There
is
we
critical.
go.
But what does he say?
Yes.
It's better for you to not to pursue ministry and not get married. That's
Only.
why he said that. He said that it's better
Only.
for you to not be married and pursue ministry than okay, unless you
Glenn.
if you cannot avoid sexual immorality,
Glenn,
then it's
let's
better for you
finish-
to get married. So
let's finish the
therefore, so therefore, a high value man does not have to be married. A high value man doesn't have to have kids.
Let's finish the
Yeah,
context.
I don't think anyone's arguing that.
No,
Yeah,
but he misquoted.
That's what y'all just
he
said.
misquoted it when he.
I didn't
said it
misquote
earlier.
anything.
You said a high value man is somebody to have kids. This and that.
Yep.
Then Paul wasn't a high
A
value
good
man.
father.
Paul wasn't
No,
a high
fir-
value man because Paul didn't have kids. He
No,
wasn't married, right?
I said in my version of a high value man, I said the peak high value man would have kids. So you're taking what I said out of context because you don't listen.
No, I'm
you know.
taking what you
It's okay.
said. You said
hold
from a
on.
biblical
Can I?
standpoint,
I'm
that was
just
your definition.
thinking
I
like
didn't
this.
say
Wait. Because I'm just thinking this kind of goes back to what like Rolo was saying earlier. How like when we talk to you guys, like it goes back to like it becomes a moral thing. Because you guys
Y'all
are,
bring
you
up
get,
the
you,
Bible.
wait, Bryson, Jesus. It's like,
You let me respond
it's
to
like,
you.
wait, can you, wait, you've gotten to talk a lot this stream, just wait. Like, and so I'm saying like, we were talking earlier when like that whenever we talk with like the conservatives, it always becomes a moral thing. So you guys are saying like the high value man is like one that follows God, but we can't like quantify that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, we
Like
can.
there's no
Right.
way to really like find stats. No, I mean you could, okay, can you, what? You get so like reactionary. I'm just like, okay,
Yeah.
what?
I naturally make faces.
Reactive.
Yeah.
Morality
Well-
has nothing to do with being high value as a man.
Wait.
It really
Oh,
doesn't.
yes, it absolutely does.
No,
I
it
agree with
doesn't.
that. That's
No.
a
Y'all
high
said we
wall.
can't-
It goes back to the question of who is assigning value. Because if we're talking about women assigning the value with their selections in the so-called sexual marketplace, then like I said, it's very arbitrary, and also women are bad arbiters of that because they're all on drugs and they all have problems. When we're talking about objectively, if we're talking about God assigning the value, or men, or like honorable men assigning value, what it means to be so-called high value is to have a nobility of the soul. So, because I
Who-
agree, I
who
mean, you could be a
defines
bad
that?
person.
But can
Right,
you
so-
can you guys?
Wait,
is there any way that you guys-
Nick. So just question, like, how would you? Because I hear what you're saying, and I don't necessarily disagree, but I'm just like, how would you define that? And how would you like numerically, like, how would you define that?
Why does it need to be quantifiable? Because it's a qualitative, attribute.
Like, who the fuck are you, dude? Who's saying something
I don't know,
matter, dude?
You
What-
fucking
what-
got
what-
me, Jimmy
we don't
Baker,
need to-
man.
Think about
Hey,
it.
listen up,
who
man.
fuck are you even
defines
doing
the
here,
value?
dude?
Fucking,
Wait, we don't.
fucking
we
the
don't-
Beatles, man.
Okay, we don't need to.
I like Oasis.
Absolutism. That's
I
all
was
this
at
whole fucking
Woodstock in
conversation has
69.
been.
Who the hell are you?
Who
Come on,
defines the
asshat.
value?
I watched
Wait, okay, guys. This is unproductive. This is not.
I really want
Okay.
this question answered.
Okay.
You see you across the table.
Who defines the value? Because
The
you know
Bible.
what? Your religion, the Bible. Okay, so your
Right.
interpretation of the Bible. Let me
Right.
get this. Your interpretation of the Bible could be that this is a high value, but it may not be the same interpretation that I interpret it. Why do you think the church is divided in how many different denominations?
Right.
Y'all can't get it on the same page.
Catholics.
So then if y'all can't get on the same page, how can they determine what the
Right,
value
because even right, so that's an interesting point because even this panel isn't on the same page. Like you two, which are like more from this way, but from like the conservative side, like you're Bryson, you're Christian, right? Right?
Yes, but I want to respond.
Wait, no, but I'm saying
Are you
and
Catholic
Nick's,
or are you?
Nick's Catholic.
you-
So those are because
Hey,
you
so,
guys
okay,
wait, you guys
now we can
wait.
get up here about- okay, now at least we got to that part of the conversation.
Wait, so I
Yeah,
just
man.
guys. So you can correct me if I'm wrong, but like from what I know, because about Christian and Catholic, it's like you have to be baptized in order to go to like heaven if you're a Christian, right? Do you believe that?
in different
What's that?
denominations. Catholicism, yes, but-
Wait. So I just
John
want
the
to
Baptist
is that
set
true
that
or
precedent.
is that true or false? But you guys don't count like infant baptism, right?
Who?
No, so
Bryson or me?
No, Bryson, I'm asking.
Yeah.
Like, this is just what I understand. Okay, wait, I just want to know if I'm right or I'm wrong. Like, if you
answer.
if you get baptized as a baby, it like doesn't count in Christianity.
It depends on what denomination you are in.
For you, I'm asking you.
Oh, for me, I don't believe in infant baptism because you can't sin. You can't sin.
Okay, but you need. Okay. So
I thought you're born into
so-
sin. I'm just kidding. Sorry.
But so
I can respond to that too if you want.
So you believe that like if you were baptized as a baby, in general, you can't get into heaven because you need to be baptized to get to heaven, right?
You said, let me repeat your question.
Like you need to be baptized. Okay, in order to get into heaven, you need to be baptized, right?
Well, the Bible, Jesus says you need to be born again of the
Okay.
water
I
and
just want
spirit.
yes or no. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm
So
giving you the scripture.
Okay.
That's a no.
Okay. I just.
And that
That's not a no. It was a yes if you would just, if y'all
Okay.
just be quiet and listen to
I'm
the
just
response.
trying
But
to.
you didn't want to answer
I'm
directly.
just okay. So yes, you
I
need.
answered it with the Bible.
Wait, guys, wait, Jesus. So I'm saying like, and so even on this panel, then Nick, or he hypothetically is Catholic, and if he was baptized as a baby, your definitions of the high value men would be different because the moral, spiritual, like the same people wouldn't get into heaven, right?
Nope.
Because,
No.
okay, tell me
What is your contention? I'm confused. You're saying that because
I'm
there's
trying to
multiple
respond to Glenn.
denominations.
She's saying that there's no type of university within Christianity.
Yes, it is.
So no, there's not, because you have all
is.
these different denominations. And just like she said, if you're Catholic and you can get baptized as an infant, and that counts as your salvation. Or you can, just say your rosaries before you die and you go into heaven.
So let me explain to y'all. I think once again it's a misconception. I don't know if it's due to sort of like ignorance about the differences between denominations and things of that nature. A lot of the differences are theological. We all view sin as sin. So everything
hold on.
Nick viewed.
No, I gotta stop you right there, because literally the Catholics use a whole different translation of the Bible. They use
Bro.
different books.
What are you talking?
Not only that, the 10 Commandments
true.
are different.
Wait,
The 10
okay, wait,
Commandments
let
are
me-
different.
It's true.
Why don't you look at that
Okay,
too?
So what?
Okay, instead of interrupting me, let me inform you real quick, please. Don't interrupt me this time. Just try. The difference is simple. You said the 10 Commandments are different. No, they're just numbered differently. Secondly,
Really?
you claim
Really? They split the one into two. Come on.
Or if they use a whole different Bible, then
what's considered a sin amongst Catholics, because by the way, if you don't know, let me give you a history lesson. They use the Old Testament and the New Testament just like any Protestant or any other Christian, and it's the same books. They do have extra books that they view as canon, but the main canon is the same. Just like the 7 deadly sins come from Proverbs chapter 6 verse 16 and other things. So what they view as a sin, unless you could give me a difference on what's viewed as a sin between Catholics and between other Christians, prove that to me, then we'll have the issue. The only big difference where me and Nick will have a very harsh contention is the Catholic Church believe that salvation is in the church, and that will be a difference. But as far as what's considered wrong or what's considered right is 99.9% the exact same.
well, I mean, Catholicism is heavily based off of idolatry and pagan traditions.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just not even true.
Before we go
That's
into
definitely true.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Facebook degree.
but before we even go into like the religion argument, because I'm not even trying to like put Catholics, Christian, all that stuff against each other. Like the point is, it's not consistent in the argument because it's like every single person has a different religion, and so it's like high value man's going to be different between every single person.
That's not true, though. I just proved that's not true.
Okay,
because
but-
what Nick, what Nick
You said I
considered
got a Facebook degree. But didn't you
possible
drop out?
to? Is it possible to pivot? Because you guys have been on the
got an
religious
actual
thing
degree.
for a long time, and like pastors don't even agree on scripture.
Howard University.
But that's
What?
No,
There
University of Georgia. Get it right.
There are universal
University of
truths.
Georgia, brother.
There are,
Hey,
there
look,
are
the,
you-
the
look,
number
it's
one public Ivy in the United States, though.
public
there are
eye-
universal
I'm just saying,
truths.
Yeah.
If you look at the Ten Commandments,
I went to
it is
Howard. I got a
the
degree in
Catholic
basketball.
Bible and the Christian Bible.
Glenn,
What?
I will pay you to show me something in the
Come
10
on.
Commandments.
Oh,
of
you want me to do it?
capital-
I'll do it right now.
No,
I
just
wish I could share my
listen.
screen.
God,
Can I
dang,
share
boy.
my screen and I can share
Listen,
it?
I will pay you to show me something in the 10 Commandments of the Catholics that
Okay.
other Christians don't view as wrong. Like, is there a difference in
I
what we
said
view as
it's
wrong?
It's not about
I didn't
viewing
say it
what's
was
wrong.
wrong.
It
I said
is because y'all are claiming.
I said that they were different. I never said they were wrong.
Bro, y'all are claiming because of this evidence y'all are trying to introduce, you're claiming that what's considered a high value man will be different
No,
between
I'm
the
trying
two.
to say that
And I'm trying to prove y'all there's
They're not consistent. They're not. They're
No,
not.
they
They're not
are.
on the same page.
they are okay, Nick. Hey Nick. Do you think
Hey.
a homosexual can be a high value man?
No.
Okay, how about a man that supports abortion?
Nope.
How about a man that commits adultery?
Nope.
How about a gluttonous man?
How about a gluttonous man? You think a gluttonous man? You said no? Okay, cool.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, keep throwing them out. Show us the difference right now. Just prove it right now.
How about a
How about
racist
a man
man?
that prays
Can
to
a
Mary?
racist man be
How about a man
high
that
value?
prays to
Hell yeah, brother.
Don't do that. No, don't. Nick, I'm gonna kick you off.
Idol.
I'm gonna kick you off. I'm
There you
gonna.
have it.
He asked me.
All right, then. So do
Are
you
we-
believe that,
Don't do this
Bryson?
to me.
Hold on. Bryson, do you believe that a racist man can be a high value man? You laughing.
What's your definition of racist?
A person who
Do you believe in
discriminates
race mixing?
against
Do
somebody
you believe in race
solely
mixing?
based off of
Well-
their race.
Well, Nick disagrees with race mixing, but he's not gonna say it's unbiblical to race mix.
Bro, he
True,
just said
that's
that
it.
you can be a high value man based off of the principles of the Bible, which he's defining as a high value man if you're racist. Do you agree with that?
And what's your definition of racist? I'll tell you the truth.
Come on,
right
G.
now. Yes or no?
Bryson, do you believe in race mixing?
I don't care if you race mix.
You could bring it down.
Would you shame
racist
would you
is-
shame somebody for their choice in that? Would you shame them for their choice in that?
No, but can you skip to the end where you ask me if I think
No.
if somebody disagrees with race mixing, that means
No.
they're not a Christian? Because I'm gonna say no.
The Oxford.
what is-
Hold
what
on.
is-
You said if somebody is racist. Say that again. I'm sorry.
If I'm using Nick as the perfect example, Nick
Mhm.
disagrees with race mixing, but Nick will tell you it's not because of the Bible, because the Bible doesn't condemn it. It does, but not in the way that we're thinking about it. So yes, he can still be a man of God. And I think Sergio was trying to say being against race mixing is how you define racism, which is why I asked you, what's your definition of racism?
Well-
Because a lot of people will call anything racist.
Well, I mean,
Well, is
I'm not trying to
being a
race
racist
bait here.
Loving thy neighbor. Is
Huh?
being a race would you define being a racist loving thy neighbor?
No, you can't. If your
If
neighbor's
you
black and
if
you're
you
racist.
hate if you
I'm
hate
asking-
black if you hate black
Just it's a
people,
yes or no question. Could you be a racist and love thy neighbor?
you also haven't defined racist. So I'm
This is
trying to
some
answer the question.
SJW.
Okay,
Racist
here.
is
How about you guys
in
are
the
red
dictionary.
pilled?
We don't need to
Oh, my
redefine
goodness.
racism. We already know what it is. It's in the dictionary. So according to the dictionary,
Right.
can you be a racist and love thy neighbor?
You cannot hate black people and love thy neighbor.
Okay,
Then,
then so
then
you,
no,
so
you
you can't.
cannot be a racist and a high value man according to you.
But I
Right.
love black people.
Me and Nick are friends. We was texting in the beginning of this whole
I don't
situation.
care about
Bruh,
you
but he
guys.
just
I'm
said-
asking you in general.
If you hate black people, unless you're going to define racist for me, if you hate black people, you can't
Right.
love thy neighbor.
Okay, so the Oxford Dictionary says racism is prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism by an individual, community, or institution against a person or people on the basis of their membership in a particular racial or ethnic group, typically one that is minority or marginalized. So we have a standard definition of racism. Can you be a high value man and be a racist?
Repeat the definition one more time.
Hey guys, I have
Lord
to.
have
I'm
mercy.
sorry. I have a show coming up, so I have to go. But thank you all for calling in. I really appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Pearl.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Peace.
Hey Nick, let's debate soon, bro.
Want to become an elite level athlete? Well, look no further. The Reclaim Your Throne Elite D1 training course is all you need to take your performance from subpar to the creme de la creme of athletes all around the world. The purpose of this course is to give you a comprehensive weight training, speed, flexibility, recovery, and endurance program that is meant to prepare young athletes for collegiate and professional sports. This course is packed with over 2 hours of creative, action-packed lifts narrated and coached by yours truly to assure increased strength, speed, flexibility, recovery, and endurance. Hey, I get it. Training alone can be tough and can even make you feel misguided or somewhat unmotivated. But with this course, I walk you step by step through each and every lift to make sure you're using the proper form to prevent injuries and that you're hitting the correct muscle groups to render maximum results. So what are you waiting for? It's now or never. So go ahead and get the training course today so you too can reclaim your throne.